tuned into Flipping the Birds, a Philly Sports Network podcast.
What's going on, Eagles fans? Welcome all to episode 23 of Flipping the Birds. I'm Brian Cameron, and on the other end of this lovely podcast, I'm reunited with Mr. Chris Infante, who is not only just Mr. Chris Infante, he's Mr. Chris Infante, father of a beautiful baby girl.
Just like Michael Jordan with the 2-3, episode 23, I'm back. No, sorry, it's just like Jordan with the 4-5. Never mind.
I mean, he did come back with 23 with the Wizards, so he still counts.
Getting my Jay-Z lyrics wrong. But yes, I'd like to send a special shout-out to Liam Jenkins for filling in for me last week. If you don't know, I mean, obviously, Brian just said it last week. My wife and I welcomed our beautiful baby girl 2 weeks ago today, on December 4th. Cameron Rose Infante, the heir apparent.
That's Jay-Z's birthday.
Oh, you know there you see. I didn't even see.
Wow.
I forgot about that. And I started rapping.
Wild.
Look at that.
That's pretty wild, bro.
She's the heir to the throne. See,
legit.
And she's gonna be bigger than both him and Beyonce. See, watch.
There we go. Bringing all the money home.
Yeah, she better. Shit. She already, she's got scholarships lined up already. I'm already talking to D1 schools.
As long as she doesn't end up, with Jim Schwartz as our coach, I think she'll be fine.
If Jim Schwartz shows up to the door to recruit her, he's getting his ass kicked out.
So I have a serious question. I'm sorry, I'm eating right now. I just got to work, so I'm a little hungry.
Jesus Christ.
Where were you? What did this Redskins game mean to you? Before we get into Dallas hate week, watching the final drive, what did it mean to you?
I mean, Wentz hopefully silenced some people.
Okay.
Watching it, I was like, I don't think there was ever a doubt in my mind he would do it.
Mm-hmm. I
was just hoping he would do it and the defense would stop them. Because if he was to do it, he did the Miles Sanders touchdown.
Yeah.
And then defense fucks up.
Yeah.
So he has that incredible throw to Miles Sanders. It would have been all for naught, and people would have trashed him if he didn't come back after defense let it up again.
Correct. And defense has not been the same since.
Defense had such a great stretch against Russell Wilson and Tom Brady. And now you're getting your ass kicked against Ryan Fitzpatrick, Eli Manning, and Dwayne Haskins. Like, what the heck?
It was bad. So the reason I'm asking is, how do you feel about that game? Because something hit me. Obviously, and me and you have been in contact throughout the weekend. My daughter was she had to be rushed to the hospital because she came down with the flu, and our hospital is in Philadelphia. So we're in the emergency room, and I'm trying my best to focus on what's going on with my daughter, focus on what's going on with the game, and they had the game on the big screen. I'm looking around, and you see everybody just staring into it, and then you see Greg Ward catch the ball. Greg Ward Jr., who nobody knew before this season. Pretty much. I mean, if you really focus on the team, he's been on the practice squad for the past couple of years. But this guy, the definition of an underdog, came out of nowhere, caught the game-winning touchdown pass over Josh Norman, who was once the undisputed lockdown corner of the league, which I think that only lasted like a year or two.
Yeah, he was more when he was at Carolina.
Yeah. So you're seeing this, and I'm looking around, and I see everybody celebrating. I see my daughter, who's 2 years old, screaming out, "Go Eagles!"
Hell yeah.
And it's just like, this is it. This is the moment right now. Like, forget 2017 underdogs. This is the moment that Philadelphia needs right now from Carson Wentz. Carson Wentz is the definition of an underdog, and he's rolling with nothing but underdogs. Miles Sanders, who was everybody was getting on in the beginning of the season. You have Greg Ward Jr. You have Dallas Goedert stepping up. Everybody's stepping up at the right time, and now we're finally here. It's Dallas week, and it means more than just a regular game. This is not Wentz versus Prescott, in my opinion. This is Wentz versus Dallas.
This is essentially like 2 years to almost to the day where the Eagles' season turned around from when Wentz went down and went on that run. So you're looking at this like, are we seeing deja vu, but just in a different way?
Correct.
We might have seen the old Carson Wentz put on IR and a new Carson Wentz come in and take over. Because I think what we saw on the sideline in the Redskins game, his emotion.
Did you see when he slammed the tablet?
When he's slamming the tablet, I hope he knows how much that thing is. Shit, if I threw that down, yeah, damn. But I guess that's what happens when you're a multi-billion-dollar franchise. You could just snap tablets in half and just get a new one from the damn drawer. But the old Carson Wentz, he didn't show that at all.
No, not at all.
He would come in, he would look frustrated, and then all of a sudden in the press conference, it's all on me. You got to look in the mirror. It's all on me. You got to do better. Blah 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 blah. He got something bit him in the ass.
This is his moment, man. Like this is his moment. He needs to really, like, as corny as it sounds, he needs to really own it right now. Like, because the defense is letting him down. No matter what, the defense is gonna let this team down. It's not gonna be Carson. That's a fact.
Especially with Camus out now.
Yeah.
I mean, we get more T.J. Edwards, which we know Thomas on.
Possibly more Singleton as well.
I hope to God Singleton, because I can't see Jerry miss another tackle.
But this injury bug is what's really biting this team in the ass in a good way. Like, it has its balance, obviously, but the injury bug is like, it's also forcing the coaching staff to trust in these young guys, to give these young guys more than just a chance, like to give these young guys actual, like, meaningful snaps, and it's coming at the perfect time.
Yeah. Wentz, today's the 18th. When was the game? The game was on Sunday, on the 15th. So on December 12th, 2017, Wentz went on IR. December 15th against the Redskins, it's pretty much almost 2 years to the day.
This will be the first time he takes a snap in week 16 since his rookie
year. That's right. I think this is the first time he did week 15 in a couple years too. So I think last year he made it to week 12.
I think it was week 13 as well.
I think the Saints were week 12 or week 13, yeah. And then so we're seeing late December football from Carson Wentz. We're seeing December football period from Carson Wentz for the first time in 2 years.
And we're seeing some pretty damn good football.
We are. And he's doing it, like I've been saying all on Twitter. He's been doing it with the band of misfit toys. He's doing it with Greg Ward. He's doing it with Miles Sanders. He's still a little toy. He's doing it with Boston Scott. He should be doing it with JJ. I'm going to defend JJ until like another couple years. I am not giving up on him after.
I'm not off the JJ train. I just think he needs a season to kind of like learn what the NFL is.
He needs a confidence booster. I mean, I know that pass to him in the end zone was tipped. Still had his hands on it. But you still got to go to him. You still got to show him.
But I was looking at
he had the catch of the year 2 weeks ago against the Giants, and then you see him yesterday. I mean, on Sunday, he kind of dropped it, I guess. But you got to go back to him. We know he has hands.
Yeah, and the thing about Wentz right now is like he's showing that he'll go back to like these guys. Like, it's so mind blowing that without Alshon, without Deshaun, without Aguilar, Wentz is playing. Probably, I want to say the best football of his career, but he's playing the most meaningful football at a very high altitude, I could say.
Yeah.
I don't know if you agree.
Yeah.
He looks free. He looks like he's balling right now. He looks good.
I mean, it looks like they're going back to go back to how it was 2 years ago with Nick Foles. They simplified the offense when Nick Foles came in.
Mm-hmm.
They pretty much have to do the same thing with these new wide receivers coming in. And it's helping Carson. It's helping Carson like crazy. They're rolling him out of the pocket more. His pocket, when he is in the pocket, he needs his pocket presence to get a little better.
Which we'll touch on.
But that offensive line has not been helping him either. With Lane Johnson out and Big V, he's just a bomb, and Jason Peters.
Yeah.
And it's rough right now. But yeah, he's making these throws on the move that he should be. I want to see more RPO, roll him out, and get it going. Because when you roll him out, that's when you get Greg Ward in space. That's when you get Ertz in space. That's when you get Goddard in space. and then they have to account for Sanders more. They have to account for Scott more, and maybe we get Jordan Howard again. I don't think we will.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
But imagine the trio: Jordan Howard through the tackles, Miles Sanders shaking and baking, and Boston Scott. You can't even see him behind the line because he's so damn short, and he's going to coach through. He's the new Darren Sproles.
You know what's really turning me on right now? Darren Sproles, Miles Sanders, and Boston Scott in the backfield at the same time.
Like, who's going to defend that?
Yeah.
Like, it's shotgun formation. Scott on one side, Sanders on the other.
Mm-hmm.
Who's gonna, if they run a triple option through that or RPO through that? You got to pick and choose.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you pick Scott up. Wentz is either throwing it deep or pitching it to Miles Sanders. You pick up Wentz, he's gonna pitch it to either one of them. They're gonna kill you. There's really with players that were not even on the team a few weeks ago. This offense is gonna hit its peak. It's mind blowing.
It is.
How it's looking like. I mean, we'll get into predictions at the end of the thing, but it's looking like this team's going to go into the playoffs with receivers that just caught their first pass of the season last year.
They might be the team in the playoffs that nobody wants to face.
Right, especially when you have a home game in Philly in January. I don't care who you're facing. I think if you're facing Seattle, that's the team
it's San Fran more than anything.
I think that's the team who's more battle tested in weather.
Yeah.
So if they come to Philly and it's snowing, I don't think it'll, because they're a running team too. But San Francisco, when do they play in cold weather? And especially if it comes down to week 17, like it'll come down to week 17 too for the Eagles if they win against Dallas, and winning in. But if it comes down to week 17 for San Francisco and Seattle, whoever that is going to probably be banged up traveling cross country on a pretty much short week to Philly.
Yeah.
And that bodes well for Philly no matter who's on the other side.
And it's a tough environment. I mean, Philly, like you said, Philly in January is not a place anybody wants to be. I don't even want to drive over there in January because how cold it is. But one thing that now, let's segue into Dallas week. I'm going to tell you what's really important for me for this week right now. Against the Redskins, the Eagles called a halfback draw on 3rd and 11. To me, that was a very meaningful play call because it showed that that Doug Peterson is feeling a little ballsy around this time. And I need this team to be not so much more than over-prepared, but I need Doug Peterson to get into his bag of tricks and just let it rip in this game. Like, you got to just go full throttle where it's like back to 2017 where you're just putting your foot on everybody's neck.
Right. I mean, you're facing a defense that hasn't been that good this year.
But they're not scrubs.
They're not scrubs either. They still have Jalen Smith, who we saw how he celebrated an injury a couple weeks ago. And they're missing Van Der Esch. Sean Lee's looks banged up, but when isn't he banged up? But he had a good play last week with I think it was his first interception, so it's like 2,000 or something like that last week. He probably even having wow. I'm sure he hasn't even been in the league since then, but it just seems like a while since he's had an interception. You still got Byron Jones, future Eagle Byron Jones.
I wish. Don't play with my feelings like that right now.
And you got Shadubia Awuzie, who's pretty good. And you got opportunistic players on that defense. And old Eagle, Michael Bennett, is still there. So he knows how to play in Philly.
Yeah,
not that the rest of the Cowboys don't know how to play in Philly, but Michael Bennett, I'm sure he's going to be a little jacked up to return to Philly. But that defense, you keep them on their toes, missing a really good linebacker in Van Der Esch, a really good coverage linebacker in Van Der Esch.
Yeah.
If you put Jalen Smith on Miles Sanders, that's leaving who on Boston Scott? That's leaving who on Greg Ward and all this stuff. It's going to open it up. And then on the flip side, you have a defense on the Eagles who is not very good right now, but we might have a little bit of an opportunity here with Dak Prescott.
I knew you were going to go there because that's the one thing I do not care about right now. The Dak Prescott injury, I don't want to even hear about it because the moment I feel like I let that sink into my head, I'm already thinking
I'm not thinking about it either.
Yeah.
Because the fact of the matter is, if Dak Prescott has been killing the Eagles in his career, I would care about it, but he hasn't. It's been
Ezekiel Elliott. Yeah.
It's Zeke the whole time, and And Cowboys fans, it's been Cowboys, just on Dallas Hate Week on Eagles Twitter versus Cowboys Twitter. It's hilarious, and all these people I saw today. Dak makes Eagles his bitch and all this stuff. Like, Dak sucks against the Eagles.
Yeah, just let it keep coming. I don't want nothing coming from us. Just let it keep coming.
He's not good. And then you have another one, and then this irked me. Like, I try to stay out of it, and that's what I said on Twitter. I try to stay out of it because it's really exhausting, the Dak versus Wentz. They're both, as much as you hate the Cowboys, you have to admit Dak's having a really good year.
Yeah,
like you're ignorant if you don't say that. And
he's
I'm
having
sure
a phenomenal passing year.
I'm sure, and most of the times that's garbage yards. But he has having a great year. He should have been in the Pro Bowl. I agree. But at the same time, you would hope that intelligent Cowboys fans who can hold a conversation, would say the same about Wentz, because Wentz is having a great year. Also,
his numbers are identical to Aaron Rodgers.
Right, despite one statistic that we'll get into in a minute. Wentz I think he has to average maybe 240, 250 yards. No, maybe a little more than that. The next 2 games for him to be the first ever 4,000-yard passer in Eagles history.
Which is very likely, because he has to start launching it. Like, it has to happen. And it's been happening for the past couple weeks.
Once that deep ball starts coming back, and it looks like it could be coming back soon, he's at 3,431 yards right now. He is that close. It's late. I gotta do math right now. Hold on.
I'm not judging, man.
So he has to average 284.5 yards per game.
It's very doable for him in this case.
You're facing a Cowboys secondary. That's pretty good. They are pretty good. They're not the best.
They're not locked down.
But they're pretty good. But then you face the Giants again, who's, I know they kind of held them in check a little bit, but their defense isn't great either. They lost Janoris Jenkins, their best corner.
Mm-hmm.
They lost. So you got DeAndre Baker, but I mean, like, DeAndre Baker had a game of his life against.
I still don't get why they cut Jenkins. Like, why not keep him? Like, was he going to be a free agent at the end of this year?
I think so, but the whole thing with the word he used and all that stuff, and he didn't want to apologize for it and all that stuff.
It's a very sensitive world nowadays.
So you got Dallas is only averaging 220 yards per passing. Then you got the Giants, who are allowing. Why can't I find them? Oh, there they are. 261 yards. So if Wentz is held to those averages, he doesn't make it. But who knows? It's any given Sunday. Even if the Eagles have the best running attack in the world, Dougie's gonna make a pass 40 or 45 times.
He's very cherry happy when it comes to Wentz passing. Now, it's Dallas Hate Week, and I'm trying to keep myself very, very compressed because I just want Sunday to be here. I want to focus on what's going to actually happen, opposed to fantasizing what's going to happen. But
you said before you got turned on by something. Now you fantasize about something. It's only 8 o'clock at night. I don't know what you're trying to do here, but leave it for later.
Listen, you're lucky I'm sober right now. Let's just leave it like that, all right? I'm happy to see you. Is that what it is?
Because I'm here. That's why.
Do you want me to admit it? I'm very happy to see you. I'm very happy that you're back on. Yes, Liam is amazing. I love Liam to death. But it's just Chris is like it's Bryan and Chris. Like it just fits each other.
Even though last week
I did call you ugly. Yes, I still think you're very ugly.
Questioned how my daughter's so beautiful when it comes from me.
Because she looks like you, and I look at you and I see you, and it just look what you're doing right now, bro. Look at you.
I'm picking my nose.
But anyways, my biggest pet peeve about Sunday is Eagles sticking to the game plan that works for them. The running game has been phenomenal for them. Boston Scott, Miles Sanders, like you've been saying already. Now,
Boston Scott did become not Boston Scott. Miles Sanders became the first Eagles running back to hit 100 yards rushing since October 1st, 2017.
Yes, and when that happened, it's funny. I wanted to text you, but I was like I told you, I was very preoccupied over there because I know you were. It kind of bothered you when Jordan Howard, I think, was like 4 yards away or 2 yards away when that happened.
It did bother me.
So the fact that my brand showed up and did it.
It didn't bother me that he was short it bothered me that he was short because Doug just stopped running with him. Just so stupid.
But Miles Sanders is now the rookie holder for all scrimmage yards.
All scrimmage yards and
rushing yards. Yeah, like the kid is looking great. He's looking patient. He's hitting the hole right. Sometimes, it could be a little bit. He shows flashes of his, early on in the season, but right now he's looking really good and it's prime time. And I feel like the running game has to be creative on Sunday.
It has to be. You gotta find ways to make it easy for Sanders on Sunday. He's as much as I love the kid, he's not making it easy on himself on some of these runs.
Correct.
He's still making it, shake and bake, and he's trying to, do all these different things, but he doesn't have to do all these different things. And if they just stick to because the Eagles line, no matter how many injuries on that line right now, I mean, there's only really one big one, but Lane Johnson might be back on Sunday. They're really good at making these running lanes, and they're gonna have to do it. I think they'd be best suited to run more outside than in between the tackles, just because you got Jalen Smith right there waiting.
Yeah,
make Jalen Smith chase him, but they gotta stick to Sanders early and open up that play action, because Dallas, I think they only have about 8 interceptions this year, only 8, and if I only have 6. They're tied for last in interceptions this year. Even though they're only allowing 220 yards passing per game, they only have 6 interceptions. So when the ball's up there, they're not doing much with it. It's just probably just a lot of incompletes. They're in the top of hurrying the QB, which kind of concerns me with Wentz because of the article I just wrote. They have 58 hurries on the year. That is more than the Eagles. Eagles are at 49. They have... I don't even know what this means. They've knocked down the quarterback 43 times, which is less than the Eagles, 48. So Eagles have hurried the quarterback 49 times, and they've hit him knocked them down 48 times. Cowboys have hurried 58 times and knocked them down 43 times, which kind of bodes to their yards, because they're probably forcing incomplete passes more than. But they've only their sacks. They only have 36 sacks, which is tied with the Eagles. So they're kind of all over the place with their defensive line and their pressure. But you got to force that. You just got to force that play action. They won't be able to defend it.
I agree with that. And now we're gonna touch on what you wrote about today, because that's my concern now. Now that you broke down the numbers of how good the Cowboys pass rush has been. The big difference between, I think this game's going to come down to, is Wentz holding onto the ball with the fumbles versus Dak Prescott, like, being elusive over the defense. Because that's my biggest fear always with Prescott, is that he can move out of the pocket at ease. Wentz is kind of like, he can move out of the pocket at ease, but at the same time, he wants to make the big play. He's not looking to scramble and get a couple yards. He wants to go full-fledged 10, 12 yards down the field and keep on eating up yards. How are you feeling about Wentz right now with his ball management?
If you haven't read my article, I did a deep dive. Deep, not too deep. Shallow, like kiddie pool. Deep. Dive. You can't dive in the kiddie pool. You're kind of treading water in the kiddie pool about Wentz's stats, because it came out that Wentz has played 54 games and started 54 games in his career, and he is the only quarterback in NFL history in their first 54 games to have 95 touchdown passes and 35 or fewer interceptions. That's great. Like if he played a few more games, he'd probably have 100 touchdowns in less than 60 games.
And this is with him missing 16 games in his career.
Yeah, right. He's missed a lot, so he's missed all those games, and he still has 95 touchdowns. He's been phenomenal when he's able to get the ball out. However, when he stays in the pocket and he holds on to the ball, in those 54 games, he has 46 fumbles. Now, out of all quarterbacks in their first 4 years, complete first 4 years of their careers, so this includes all quarterbacks, even ones who have started every single game in their career for the first 4 years, he's fifth in fumbles with 46.
That's pretty alarming.
If he played as many games as he should have, that would be 64. So only 10 more games. He's only missed 10 games in his career. First on the list is only 11 away from 40. It's at 57. So if he played 10 more games, kind of could assume he'd probably be first with all those fumbles. And he led the league in his fumbles in rookie year with 14. He currently has 14 right now, and there's still 2 games left.
How many have gone for losses?
Not less than half.
Okay.
I think it's exactly half. I think he's lost 40. I think he's fumbled 46 times and lost it and recovered it 23 times. I think. But still, it's a product of him trying to make a play down the field when I'm sure he's tired of all this dinking dunking. But right now, that's what the offense has to be, dinking and dunking, because you haven't had a deep threat. We still have Deshaun Jackson or another receiver on the team that could do that coming up to this game. You're probably not seeing many fumbles out of him because he's getting the ball out.
Yeah.
And there's like with the Redskins game, you had to even if Deshaun comes back when Deshaun comes back next year and is a year older, defenses still have to account for him.
Because he's still quick as hell, no matter what.
He's still very quick. He still can blow past you. So that opens up the offense for everyone else. Now, when you don't have Deshaun, when you don't have Alshon, when you don't have Aguilar, when it's just Ertz and they're doubling Ertz, no one else is getting open. Of course, he's going to hold on to the ball. The thing is, he's holding on to the ball with one hand, and he's trying to make plays, ducking under linemen and linebackers, which is great. He does his Houdini plays. It's great. It's awesome. But then someone comes from behind, knocks it out. That's the first part of making him do all these things is on the lineman because the line's just collapsing so quickly. But the last part's more on Wentz. When you're in that pocket and you're in your head, you're going through your reads, and you know what? I've been in here for about 3 seconds. Maybe I should either throw it away or scramble. Because those 3 seconds, the line is not blocking for 3 seconds. The line is absolutely not blocking for 3 seconds.
Not this line, no.
No, not this line. So that's when they get tired, they let go of a block, and then they're looking at Wentz on the ground with their hands on their hips. And it's frustrating. Because we know this line can be elite, even with Big V in there. We know JP is better than what he's shown. He's been a drive killer the last couple games.
Yeah, with his penalties.
I think I'm ready for Dillard to go in there, but I think if we see Peter struggle against Randy Gregory or even Michael Bennett, I think they got to pull him out. They got to pull him out. He doesn't move like he used to.
Yeah.
And he's all we're going to see Sunday is him try to get in front of them. They're going to beat him a couple times, and he's going to try and jump them a little too early a few times just to get in front of them, and it's going to be a false start. And it's going to be on one of those plays or two of those plays where the offense is moving, and a false start is going to kill it. It's going to go from like a 2nd and 3 to back to a 2nd and 13, and now you're done. And so it's frustrating to see him do that because he's been such a great player. He's a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Absolutely.
But you got to know when it's up. And it's up, I think, in my opinion.
I agree with that. I don't get why they don't just bring in Dillard as fullback.
Oh, my Lana!
Yeah, like somebody.
I mean, you can't bring a lot of it. I mean, he's on the return designation. You can bring him back, but they can only bring it back one more player, and they're saving that for Deshaun.
So, I'm going to ask you a serious question. How you feeling about Sunday? Complete
Okay.
honesty.
We're gonna beat that ass. No, like if all these reports are true and Dak isn't 100%, which no quarterback is at this point.
Correct.
If he's not 100%, because all I'm reading is it's either going to be an AC joint, which sucks, but you can still play with it,
Or it could be a tear.
Or I don't. It's not a tear. They did an MRI.
Okay.
It could be a contusion, where the muscles are really really tight, and you can't move the arm. And from what I read somewhere today, that Dak told Gallup, on all these RPOs, I'm not even going to pass it. I'm just going to run. We're just going to run the whole time, because he couldn't do it just because his arm was dead.
But see, that plays into the Eagles' weakness because they can't contain Ezekiel, and it blows my freaking mind why, of all the running backs, he's the only one they can't contain.
Yeah, they've been so great against the run this year, and then Zeke comes in and just destroys it. But but at the same time, if Dak is really limited to plays where he only is going to get 190 to 200 yards in a game, you can stack the box a little bit more.
Mm-hmm.
Now, who do you stack the box with? Now that Camel's out, you got T.J. Edwards has been the best tackling linebacker on this team by far.
Mm-hmm.
I just wish Alex Singleton could get more reps. You got Jannard Avery, who should be playing more. I know it's a fourth-round pick, but it's a 2021 fourth-round pick. Let's get real. We're not going to really see the effects of that until 2 years from now.
Yeah.
So I'm not too crazy about his playing time. I still think he should be playing more.
Well, we might see him heavily in this game. I
think so too, because we're kind of forced to.
Yeah.
And you have to get some linebackers who can move too. You're playing a team where they have a lot of speed on the outside. You got Cooper, who kills us every time. You got Gallup, who's been really good. You got even Tony Pollard, the backup running back, who both Zeke and Pollard had over 100 yards rushing against the Rams.
And don't forget about Randall Cobb. He's still there.
So damn overrated, I swear.
Yeah, they're super overrated. That whole blowout of the Rams, it was kind of like one of those things where it's like, people were too hyped on the Rams versus being underhyped on the Cowboys.
So this Dr. David J. Chow, who's on Twitter, he's been a team doctor for many teams before. This is what he put, and this is actually, let me get you exactly what it says in his bio. He's the former NFL head team doctor for 17 years, and he's an orthopedic surgeon. So this is what he says about Dak's injury. He says, if my computer will load, let's see. So an AC joint for Dak Prescott would be good news. I fear rotator cuff contusion due to elbow hitting the ground first, not his shoulder. So if his elbow hit the ground first, you're hitting nerves there that's going straight up to his shoulder. AC joint sprains hurt immediately. Dak continued through the game without leaving for injection. Rotator cuff contusions don't hurt immediately, but they get worse and swell with time. Dak played 3.5 quarters and is now worse. AC joint sprains happen when the point of the shoulder contacts the ground. Rotator cuff contusions happen when the shoulder is forced up when the elbow contacts the ground, as in this case. Not saying Dak won't play. He's as tough as they come, but to me this is significant and could affect him versus the Eagles. Rotator cuff is vital to a thrower. If it is truly just AC joint, then I would have no worries with an injection. Someone asked him, in regards to him playing Sunday, is it a pain tolerance issue or could he injure it further? And he said, pain tolerance and effectiveness. So if his shoulder's completely dead, that's one aspect that's gone.
Now, do you risk that being in the contract year that you're in?
You kind of have to. It's for the division.
It's wild, man.
If the Eagles had the division wrapped up at this point,
then yeah, obviously not.
You probably don't see Dak play.
Of course not, yeah.
But Dak, I mean, Dallas you win this game and you win the division, you clinch it.
Yeah.
Eagles win, you still kind of have a chance next week. You got to hope and pray that Giants beat the Eagles next week.
That we beat the Giants.
The Giants.
Dallas hopes and pray that we. Okay.
And you still got to deal with the Redskins, those pesky little Redskins. But you still have hope 2 games in a row. Eagles have hope right now. And if they lose, it's done. So they got to – I think you're going to see a lot more pressure in this game because you get Dak on the ground. That's his shoulder over and over and over.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows how it's going to – not saying they're going to be targeting because that's illegal.
Of course.
But every team.
But they'll be aiming.
To be fair, his shoulder is where you're allowed to hit the quarterback. Mm-hmm. You can't really hit the quarterback anywhere else other than the torso. So you get Fletcher Cox up in there. And Tyron Smith is a little banged up too. He's always banged up, but he always plays. He's not like JP where JP's banged up and he plays, but then he's out two snaps into the game. Mm-hmm. I think Tyron Smith has like an eye infection or something, but he should be playing. But, I'm more confident in this game than I was in the first game. I said the first game they were going to win. I've said that they were going to win every game this year. But I'm more confident in this game just because of the way Wentz is playing, the way that offense is clicking right now. Because, like you said before, we got big balls dug back right now. I think he took some responsibility away from Grow.
I hope he did. There's a different edge right now. There's definitely a different edge.
I think he secretly did, and and it's great. Right now, Doug is probably coaching for his own reputation to show that he wasn't just a fluke coach to coach a team to a Super Bowl. Because we've seen coaches like that, and Wentz wants to prove that he's the guy.
Yeah.
So Grow, what the hell is he gonna prove?
Nothing.
He's out.
I think he's out no matter what. Like, even if the Eagles make the playoffs, he's out. There's no way to keep him for 30 again.
And what another similarity between this year and 2017. In 2017, on September 18th. No, sorry. Hold on. September 12th, the Eagles released Greg Ward from the practice squad. On September 18th, they brought him back. And look where he is now.
He's technically our number 1 wide receiver right now.
It all started in 2017. You see that Super Bowl win, and they were just keeping him incubating until here. But you don't see with the 2017 rush. This is what pissed me off this week with the Cowboys shit with people on Twitter. Like I said, I try to stay away from it. This is exhausting. But I saw someone say, this was the same Super Bowl roster. No,
it's not. It's nowhere near the same Super Bowl team.
I'm looking at 2017 right now. I would say Sidney Jones didn't play until the last game of the season, but he really hasn't played either. But you're looking at Dexter McDougal was on the team. All right. So on the practice squad was Jerry was on the practice squad. Greg Ward was on the practice squad. Bryce Treggs, Byron Marshall, Sudfeld was on the practice squad. Then you're looking at Devontae Ballsby came on the practice squad. So then Darren Sproles goes on IR. They bring back Barner. Barner's not here.
No.
They put Alex McAllister on the practice squad, release Rashard Davis. So then they promoted Jerry to the active roster. He's still here. He sucks, but he's still here. Taylor Hart signed, so he sucked too. Then they got J.J. He's here, but he's not that J.J.
Yeah.
Jordan Hicks went on IR, so that's 2 people on IR now. I think I missed Maragos, so it should be 3 people on IR at this point. You got Sudfeld back. Sudfeld went on to the practice squad, came from this practice squad. He's still here. What does that mean? Jernigan was here, okay. Then the Alshon Jeffrey contract. And then Carson Wentz is on injury reserve. But you see, there was 2 people. I think I would say 2 people that I've said so far that were promoted from the practice squad. I think actually one person. I think that was Jerry that was called up that year. Everybody else was just free agents and all that stuff. Towards the end of the season, you see Bowlesby and McDougal, they're coming up. But, in 2019, there's a whole lot of transactions here because there's a whole lot of going on.
There's a lot of churn.
LeBlanc wasn't here until November. It's kind of like 2017. No, actually, he came last year, not 2017. We played Craig James. We had like 3 different defensive tackles come through practice squad. We had, I think we brought Bruce Hector back.
Yeah, they called him up today.
We had Orlando Scandrick on our damn team this year. Like, give me a
little rat.
And Greg Ward was promoted earlier this year. Then he went back. You got Aziz Chatou he was waived. We got Robert Davis, who I like Robert Davis, but he's good. So Zach Brown we had on the team. Alex Singleton was promoted from the practice squad. So now you got 2 players from the practice squad. You got Anthony Rush, practice squad. You got Albert Huggins, practice squad. Ridgeway went on IR. Bruce Hector, practice squad. So that's 5 players right now that are brought up from practice squad. Marcus Epps, who should have been in practice squad, he got signed. Mm-hmm. Greg Ward was promoted again to the active roster. You're signing. You brought up Josh Perkins from the practice squad, so that's 6 people. And you're having, and then we got Marco Michelle back to the practice squad. And Robert Davis. So that's 7 players from the practice squad on this team playing significant snaps. In what earth is that a Super Bowl team?
Nowhere near this earth.
They could be. We don't know how they're all going to click. It would be the Cinderella story of all Cinderella stories. Mm-hmm. But to say that Wentz or Foles won with these same players, give me a fucking break. Like bias out the way and have an intelligent conversation with someone instead of saying, "Oh, Dak is better," or Wentz is just have an intelligent conversation for once and get your foot out of your damn mouth.
Yeah, there's going to be a lot of that happening this week. So we got to find a way to keep our patience and just wait till Sunday. So before we wrap this thing up, I need a score prediction from you that you feel that damn sure about.
Oh, and I got to make sure this coincides with I haven't done my article yet. My Know Your Enemy article.
Okay.
All right, so we're looking at a team that was already beat by Dallas.
Blown out by Dallas.
37-10.
Yes.
Nelson Aguilar made the weakest of weak attempts at catching a pass during that game. That was when the Aguilar arm term came to life. Now, he's probably not going to play again. Jordan Howard, who knows? We probably got Lane Johnson back. Because he's probably going to drug himself up before the game. Not PED wise, just he's really going to probably just shoot up whatever in that knee or that ankle, just make sure he doesn't even feel it during the game.
Yeah.
Because he's not going to miss a chance to go up against Marcus Lawrence again. He needs payback for. He finally let up his first sack against DeMarcus Lawrence in the first game.
He'll be there.
I think this might be like people are going to be busting into Lincoln Financial Field to see this game. Mm-hmm. I don't think it's going to be silent. It's not. I think you're going to see you're going to be watching the game on TV. You're going to be seeing the cameras shake because of all these fans, and we know Eagles
going to get loud.
Fourth and John's going to be there with their crew, with their tailgate, and Green Legion's going to be there with their tailgate, and all these people are going to go in, and it's going to be loud as hell, and no one's going to be able to hear themselves think. It's going to be crazy, and I think I don't even know what the weather is.
Oh, that's true. It's probably going to be super brisky out there.
That's right, because tomorrow around here is going to be the coldest day ever. Around me tomorrow, it's going to be a high of 24 and a low of 16. But so let's see.
Philly, it's going to be 44 degrees on Sunday.
44.
A low of 29. So
game time is probably about 40. No, it's a 4 o'clock game. So probably Probably around that. Probably the high will be.
Yeah, like 30 something.
And you're probably ending the game around 30. After it's around 7:00. Dallas is a kind of a dome team.
Yeah.
I do think the Eagles win. I think it's going to be another game-winning drive for Wentz.
Okay.
At this time, I think it's going to be a pass to JJ.
That'll be phenomenal.
It's going to be a double shut your ass up. It's going to be a pass from Wentz to shut up everybody that he could beat Dallas. And it's going to be a shut up from JJ to everybody that he can catch and be clutch. And I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. I think it's going to be 28-24 Dallas going into the final 2 minutes. Eagles win 31-24. 31-28, sorry. 31-28, because then they got to hold off Dallas. It's going to be a heart attack because they're going to have to hold off Dallas from being in field goal range with their brand new kicker Kai Forbath.
Yeah.
And then it's going to go to the showdown in Week 17. Giants Eagles, and I will be there.
So I'm in the same boat as you. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game, but a close one. I'm going with 27-24 Eagles. And I think it's going to be a game-winning one, another game-winning drive by Wentz, because it just feels like that's going to be his MO this season, at the end of the season. And then as we approach to Week 17, we'll cover that. But I have a weird gut feeling that this is going to be a phenomenal game to watch on both ends of the ball for both teams. But like I said in the beginning of the podcast, I think this is Wentz versus Dallas more than it's Wentz versus Prescott. Because I think Wentz needs to go in there with that big chip on his shoulder and show the world, like, no, this is who I am and this is my team.
Okay. Here we go. We're ready.
On another note, thank you for tuning in, everybody. Chris, I am beyond ecstatic to have you back.
I'm happy to be back.
Please no more. Just hold off for a couple of years.
I gotta go down to tend to a crying baby right now.
Go ahead, do your thing. I gotta tend to my baby.
Yeah, best wishes to you and your baby, and fast recovery. And it's crazy households right now, and the Infante and Cameron households right now. But thank you for joining us. Thank you for allowing me to be back. And we'll talk to you after the Eagles win next week. And if we don't talk to you before the holidays, have a Merry Christmas, everybody.
Yes, have a great holiday, everybody.
Go Birds.
Yes, sir.